I'm not kidding, this might actually be one of the ugliest dresses I've ever seen in my life, which is really saying something. Hi there, my name is Tessa and I love the Met Gala. Or more specifically, I love talking about the Met Gala. Held on the first Monday of May, this exclusive event is used to bring attention to the Metropolitan Museum's Costume Institute. And every year there's a themed dress code that relates to that year's exhibit, which in 2016 was Manus Ex Machina, Fashion in an Age of Technology. Because the Met Gala is an incredibly popular event, I can't talk about every single person who attended, so my apologies if I forgot your favorite. And obviously this is my opinion and it's totally fine if we disagree. Just remember that this is all in good fun, and at the end of the day, these celebrities do not care if we don't like their outfit. As always, let's start with the head of the event, Anna Wintour. As usual, she's in Chanel, and I actually do prefer this to what she wore the previous year, only because the sort of fringe kind of reminds me of yarn on a loom, which kind of ties into this idea of technology and fashion and how it's evolved. But I'm not a huge fan of the jewelry. Next is Bea Schaefer in Alexander McQueen. Just like her mother, Bea has a signature silhouette that she wears at every single Met Gala, and this is no exception. It is very similar to what she wore the previous year. Even the placement of the flowers is almost identical. I would definitely wear this, but it does feel a little bit safe. Next is Taylor Swift in Louis Vuitton. The Bleachella era was so iconic. I really wish that it had lasted for longer because I really feel like this was such a fun and edgy look for her. Very grungy. The dress itself is pretty simple, but I think that the styling really ties it together. And let's not forget that this was the night that she met Tom Hiddleston. Next is Zoe Kravitz in Valentino. I don't understand what happened here. It's genuinely so horrendous. The mask, the shoes, the giant ass bow. I feel like they over-accessorized in an attempt to distract you from how boring the dress is. Next is Beyonce in Givenchy. This is actually one of my favorite Beyonce looks of all time. The latex is so unique and adds this really interesting, sexy edge that contrasts really well with the more sweet color palette and all the florals. And I will say, I have absolutely no idea how she went to the bathroom in this. Next is Rose Byrne in Ralph Lauren. I feel like she heard Machina and just thought, oh, I know, I'll be a robot, and then just went for something kind of silvery and shiny. But don't get me wrong, the lame is really gorgeous, but I feel like all of the ruffles wind up dating it and making it look a little bit cheap, almost like something that you would see on an episode of Dynasty or something. Next is Khloe Sevigny in Simone Rocha. As per usual, she killed it. I love this sort of vampy 1920s vibe meets like Victorian Gothic, and I think that the mesh cutouts add the perfect hint of sexiness and cheekiness. Next is Kim Kardashian in Balmain. Now from a technical perspective, I can appreciate this dress, but aesthetically I just don't feel like it looks very nice. It's almost like they mashed two different concepts together, and the top half almost even reminds me of like a dryer vent. Instead of the usual Kardashian skin tight look that they always go for, I think this same dress in more of a shift column style would have been more interesting. Next is Kylie Jenner, also in Balmain. I do prefer this one to Kim's, only because it's a lot more cohesive as a look, and I like that you can see these sort of bejeweled lines running throughout it, and I will say that the little fringe detail looks really nice in motion. Next is Kendall Jenner in Versace. I feel like cutouts were to the 2016 Met Gala what naked dresses were to 2015. Obviously, since she's a model, she's going to look good in basically anything, but I do really like this dress, especially the sort of geometric pattern with the blue and the white. It doesn't feel stereotypically Versace. Next is Rachel McAdams in Valentino. I feel like this has the same problem as Kim Kardashian's dress, where the top half and the bottom half don't feel like the same outfit. And I'm not gonna lie, the top half kind of reminds me of that cheap gold ribbon that you sometimes see on gift bags, which is to say, not ideal, but I do really like the skirt, especially since it's just a little bit sheer. Next is Nicole Kidman in Alexander McQueen. I'm a sucker for a cape, and I think that this one is just exquisite. It's very whimsical, but I'm not really sure how it relates to the theme. And funnily, Florence Welch was at this same Met Gala, and I wonder if she saw Nicole Kidman in this dress and was like, I want that. Speaking of which, Florence Welch wore Gucci. I feel really conflicted about this one because I really like this sort of iridescent fabric, because in certain lights it looks silver, other times it looks blue, other times it looks pink or purple. It's really interesting, but I feel like they overdid it with the embellishments. Just the flowers was plenty. Next is Kate Hudson in Versace. I love this so much. It's entirely 3D printed, which really leans into the sort of tech aspect that the evening has. And I feel like it just fits her like a glove, and it looks interesting from every single angle. And it does kind of remind me of the monster in Nope, but in like the best way. Next is Blake Lively in Burberry. Don't get me wrong, this is a very pretty dress, but I feel like that's all there is to it. It is fun that she matches the carpet, but the carpet is not the theme of the evening, and just nothing about it really stands out. I feel like they really needed to utilize more of the shiny lame instead of hiding it underneath all that chiffon. Next is Emma Stone in Prada. Whenever she isn't a redhead, I have such a hard time recognizing who she is, but I feel like it is the perfect fit for this evening. It's definitely a sexier look than I'm used to seeing from her, and I feel like the faux metallic harness plays really well with the simplicity of the dress. Next is Kristen Stewart in Chanel. I mean, did they even try? It's just your run-of-the-mill Chanel dress with some silver beads. It's just very boring. Next is Zendaya in Michael Kors. Not a lot of people could pull off this hairstyle, but Zendaya definitely does. I do think that the whole look kind of reads as 1970s disco, but I don't hate that. It's definitely not her most interesting Met Gala look, but it's better than some of the other attendees. Next is Lupita Nyong'o in Calvin Klein. I love how this genuinely looks like what someone would wear if they were partying on Mars. The color is so unique for the evening, almost nobody else wore green, and I feel like it really makes her skin pop. Plus, I just love when she has fun with her hair. Next is Katy Perry in Prada. I don't hate this Victorian steampunk concept because it does feel like a really good fit for the theme, but I'm not sure if they stuck the landing. The actual base of the gown itself is really nice, but I think it's over embellished and over accessorized. I think they needed to pull back on some of that gold hardware and just let the construction of the dress shine. And also, I think that the hair and makeup kind of pushes this into costume territory. Next is Margot Robbie in Calvin Klein. It's a pretty girl in a pretty dress, but that's about it. I genuinely feel like you could have worn this to anything. Next is Dakota Johnson in Gucci. So I absolutely adore this dress. I would wear it to the beach, I would wear it grocery shopping, I would wear it to the birth of my first child. That's how much I love this. But I still wouldn't have worn it to this Met Gala. It's just way too casual and just doesn't match the theme at all. Next is Jessica Chastain in Prada. The only positive thing I have to say about this dress is the color, because everything else is super frumpy and matronly, and I just don't like anything about it. Next is Karlie Kloss in Brandon Maxwell. The big gimmick of this dress was that it transformed, and she had 3 different versions of it. One when she arrived, one when she was walking the red carpet, and one for the after party, which I actually do think is a lot of fun and an interesting way to tie into this idea of fashion evolving. Besides that, I also just think that the dress is constructed really nicely. Everything is very clean and crisp and where it should be. Next is Zoe Saldana in Dolce & Gabbana. I really appreciate the drama of this dress, but I almost feel like they ran out of time because the skirt is super intricate and interesting, and then the top is just a random bustier that they had lying around. Next is Lorde in Valentino. Now, they obviously couldn't have accounted for her breaking her arm right before the Met Gala, but in all honesty, the cast isn't even the worst part of this outfit. The rainbow tulle feels super childish, and the top is really cheap and unflattering. Next is Selena Gomez in Louis Vuitton. Now, admittedly, this is pretty simple for the Met Gala, but I would wear this in a heartbeat. My only note is that I wish that Louis Vuitton didn't insist on everybody carrying around purses on the red carpet, only because it feels super unnecessary. Next is Alicia Vikander, also in Louis Vuitton. I almost feel like this is the evil version of Selena Gomez's outfit. The colors and textures just make it look like they made it out of scraps, and the length combined with the boots just makes her look like a kid who's playing dress up. Next is Lady Gaga in Versace. Now, if the theme had been Lady Gaga, I think that she nailed it. but it wasn't. The jacket is designed to resemble a circuit board, which I do think is really interesting, but the rest of it is just kind of run-of-the-mill pop star, to the point that I almost feel like this would have been more appropriate for a music video. Next is Nicki Minaj in Moschino. This dress fits her like a glove and she looks amazing, but I do feel like they could have had just a tiny bit more fun. Like, at the end of the day, it's just a black dress with buckles. Next is Claire Danes in Zac Posen. This might actually be one of my favorite Met Gala looks of all time. It's an absolutely gorgeous shade of blue. The silhouette is the perfect combination of elegance and drama, but what really makes this gown a showstopper is the fact that it lights up, which I feel really captures the entire ethos of the evening. Next is Emma Watson in Calvin Klein. This is made entirely out of recycled plastic bottles, which is actually something that I wish more fashion brands experimented with, because clearly, as we can see, it can be done well. I think the asymmetric top adds a cool modern twist to a very classic silhouette, and while they could have gone with a classic skirt, I feel like the pants were the right choice, especially since you can't even tell at certain angles. Next is Rita Ora in Vera Wang. Oh, I get it. They got a time machine and went back to 2015 and got her a naked dress from there. It all makes sense. Jokes aside, I actually don't hate this. I like that they committed to feathers in the whole dress and that the makeup is pretty toned down so it doesn't really distract from everything else that's going on. Next is Demi Lovato in Moschino. I'm not kidding, this might actually be one of the ugliest dresses I've ever seen in my life, which is really saying something. I think the sequins look cheap, the gold filigree is really tacky, and the black patches are just an eyesore. I really don't know why they did this to her. Next is Carrie Washington in Marc Jacobs. As you can probably tell by now, I really like edgier looks, so the gloves and the lace are really working for me. I just feel like they should have done a slicked back bun because it would have tied in the whole look just a little bit better. The last outfit is Poppy Delevingne in Marchesa. I'm not kidding. She looks so beautiful, it honestly makes me want to cry. The movement of the fringe is phenomenal, the cutouts are so intentional, and the styling just ties everything together. I need this dress in my closet right now. Which celebrity had your favorite look at the 2016 Met Gala? That's it for this video, and I will see you next time. Bye!